So it looks like we need a little bit of equipment to get the bike off the track down there. Apparently the drive line is locked up on it and it is no longer mobile.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Hey, are you using your cell phone?
I was using my cell phone, now I'm trying to use the track thing.
Can I use your cell phone to talk on it?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Is that right there?
Yeah.
Because you have Ben's number in your phone, right?
Have whose number?
Ben.
I don't think so.
Good night. You never
I'm
called
not
him?
sure I've ever called Ben that.
Really? How does this thing turn on? It's like a mystery. Is it on the back?
The button on the side.
Where's the buttons?
Oh, I'm sorry, on the top.
Oh.
And now swipe up. Oh, you should be good.
Could you? Let me see.
I don't have them. We must be down there. Let them roll back down there. It's still not on tonight. This is the place down
So worse than the food not being as good, the all these internet connections that I'm seeing that I thought were over here are new internet that they have over there. It's not quite reaching over here enough to actually use.
Oh! Did you need the password?
Uh-huh.
Huh?
Yeah, but I can't get it to work. I can't get it to, I can't get anything to work. Showing me invalid password for everything.
For the Holiday Inn? Use capital H?
Uh-huh. Maybe I should try not using a capital H. What do you think about that?
And in the ongoing saga of cars parked where they ain't ought to be, we got a beige Lincoln Navigator, Florida plate 278, 4TQ. That's a beige Lincoln Navigator. There can't be too many of those here this weekend. So if you are a Floridian and you own a beige Lincoln Navigator, chances are you're the one that is blocking in a racer and cannot move due to your poor choice of a parking space. So, beige Lincoln Navigator, Florida plate 2784TQ. Please move your vehicle to a more appropriate parking space. And just a warning to everybody, when you're parking here in the pits, please be mindful, please be considerate and careful about where you put your vehicle. Because just because there's a square of pavement there big enough to fit it doesn't necessarily mean it's an appropriate place to put it. Look around, make sure you're not going to block in a racer or a vendor or anyone else who may not be able to move because you thought that was a convenient place to park. So, beige Lincoln Navigator, Florida plate 2784TQ. Need that out of there now before the tow truck comes and does it for you.
Who brought the donuts?
No idea.
I can't believe they finally got working internet over there, and they boot us over here.
Too many of us. We never
Like
liked
who-
being as internet access to the anyway.
Huh?
We never liked being as internet access
But they never really had it, other than now they've got like I'm seeing like 3 or 4 different options, but none that reach over here. The concession
Kevin
stand has
Clark
an
gets
internet
a competition single. Since his competition
So what
broke,
the
we
fuck?
won't get to see Joey Gladstone passing 460 right now today. Or at all today. Kevin Clark, 110 to the 60 foot. Hey, and a 468 with a 4. He's going to like that, especially since he qualified with a 481. Nice move up there for Kevin Clark. Next bike up is a piece I was admiring in online photography. Run heavily with the Joey Morosco MSP racing team back in that day.
Somehow I'm plugged in and
A
losing
very
power.
skilled, very experienced rider in Keith Dennis. And once again, it's going to be a competition single. Joe Lemons not able to make the call. Goes 106 and a 60, pedals it early, goes 493 at only 105 miles per hour. Well, better than his number 6 qualifying effort of 5:15, so onward and forward. Still a beautiful machine. Chase Morris on that Growth's drag bikes piece. Another one of the Fast Time Motorsports machines, now in the strange lane. He'll take on Bam Burgess, our number 2 qualifier, who carted a 467 yesterday. Very quick index class, quickest ever in motorcycle drag racing history. Bam Burgess, Ashburn, Georgia. Chase Morris, Madison, Tennessee. Chase, deep under the index in qualifying. This bike goes 440s, which is quick, but they need to drop the nitrous jets a couple sizes. Bam Burgess looking pretty good with that 467 number. Let's see who hit the tune-up right for the first round of eliminations. On on Mr. Chase, but it does not matter. Now that's interesting. Van Burgess broke out by more, but had a way better reaction time. That was almost bracket racing at the big end. Love seeing it on these fast bikes. Wow. Double breakout in Ultra 460. Fast Times Motorsports team looking very satisfied with that outcome.
He might can.
Now, Ronnie Procopio, former MyRock Pro Comp and Pro Mod hero, now here running Ultra 460 with the Man Cup this weekend at the Exoticycle Roaring Toyz Spring Cup. Procopio laying it down with a 002 60-foot, reaction time. And the bike sags a bit off the line. He was number one with that 461, slows to a 464, but still the closest to the index of anybody in the class. So Ronnie looking good. At this time, I need Wiseco Street Fighter to the lanes, as well as Star Racing Top Gas. Your first call, I want you in lane 4. Star Racing Top Gas to lane 4, Wiseco Street Fighter to lane 3, and we're ready to put MTC Engineering Supercomp on the roll out of lane 2. Once again, if you've got a beige Lincoln Navigator with a Florida plate of 2784TQ and you haven't moved it yet, please do so. It is blocking in one of our racers.
Motorsports.
And now moving into MTC Engineering Supercomp competition. Number 28 meets number 37. It's Mike Lukoski and Sherrod Fulgham. Lukoski, 899 performance in qualifying puts him much closer to the index than Sherrod Fulgham, who could only manage a 971. So Sherrod on the outside looking in, but I've seen this scenario more than once. You cannot count out any of these racers on race day because they're always one pass away from finding that 890, and this could be that pass. So you just can't ever assume. Mike Lukoski still has to work hard to get down into the 890 range. He's only been 899. Mike Lukoski with the bulb. You know, Sherrod through a 209. That's a problem. Sure enough, in an effort to overcome that poor reaction time, Sherrod does the only thing he can do. He breaks out. And Mikey is your winner. Now Harvey Hubbard dials 890. Of course, he's also our #1 qualifier in Star Racing Top Gas, the 820 index. So Harvey's doing double duty. I don't know if it's the same bike or not. I'll have to pay attention. Larry Bradley is on the Kawasaki. Larry, a slightly better reaction time. Look at that. They both go 881. Margin of victory, 0.004 of a second. Larry Bradley comes out on top. Matt Smith, Cordova, Tennessee, pairing up with Timmy Davis from Douglas, Georgia. Matt Smith has it all under control. He goes 049 on the ball, being out of street tire smoke. Hit that track way too hard off the line. I can see the stripe from here. And so it goes with the street tire. Immense finesse required to get it down the track. Now we're watching Walt Houtailing and Tom Malley. Walt's here from Connecticut, Tom from Sebastian, Florida. Walter, 021 light, just takes it to Tom's 153. It should be over, and it is. Walter puts together the best package we've seen this round. 891. That's an 030 package. Beautiful work there for Walter. Calvin Mason, Kenji Nakamura. Kenji lays it on to Calvin. They both go 901, but the guy with the 007 light is going to win, and that is Kenji. Great work there, of course. Our number one qualifier, Masa Yokota, in this class is now on the line. So our Japanese friends having a good go of it in Super Comp. Masa Yokota went 890 with a 1 to nail down that number one qualifier. Ronnie Johnson went 895 with a 4. He is all the way back at number 21. So Ronnie Johnson on that way cool, old school 74 D&K. And Martha's got trouble. Neither one of them hits the light hard. They both go about the same, 107 and 108. But Ronnie Johnson, would you look at this? Ronnie Johnson had it all and breaks out with Masa Yokota nowhere within sight. Ronnie still goes under the index and hands it off. So our number one qualifier survives what looked like an almost certain death at the hands of Ronnie Johnson, who just simply forgot to let off the gas when there was nobody next to him. Amazing. Mark McCoy now, Mayfield, Kentucky, going up against Rafi Santos. Mark McCoy gets out first, but Rafi's coming on hard. Rafi Santos learns that even if you run on the index, it only matters if you get a good light, and he didn't. Mark McCoy takes it. Chad Odds, sponsored by Fast Bike Gas, BB&T Racing, MPS, Team Doghouse Racing. He's up against Charlie Bishop from Fairhope, Alabama. Charlie found the index, qualifying number 6 with an 891. Chad hunted for it, but I'll bet he finds it now. Look at that. Charlie Bishop just took out Chad Otts. And I don't really understand what happened there. Chad had a way better reaction time, yet Charlie Bishop took the win. Wow. An unexpected upset, but it happens. Now here's a guy who took it all in Pro AT yesterday, Gary Russell. Gary Russell now dials the 890. He's run all weekend. should have this all the way. His 026 light destroying William Prince's 203. Sure enough, Gary Russell pulls a 9 flat for an easy win. Margin of victory, only 15 thousandths of a second there. A battle of the reaction times, 0:14 and 0:17. Great work for those racers. Here comes David Fletcher and Dan Howe. Dan Howe's up from Newport Richey, Florida. David Fletcher made the haul from Lawrenceville, Georgia. David is our number 20 qualifier. Dan Howe way behind at number 30. Dan Howe with a little better bulb. Can he make it? TCA Racing top gas to lane 4. Fast by gas super eliminator to lane 5. Dennis, love the corny. Luis Ornado in the platinum lane is going to try to take out the F-bomb. Luis is having a good weekend. However, Sean, J. Right now, Jeremy's got a seat. Watch as Jeremy turn around. John Markham. Two of our very common veterans here on the tour, and Wade Smith ends it early. Wade Smith commits drag racing Harikiri with an 010 red light. John Spooky Markham, where I think the snow is still flying this time of year. Scott DeLong in a very different world, Citrus, Florida. Scott is number 14 qualifier with an 894. Kurt Sikora still looking for it with a 904 at number 32. Scott DeLong takes it to the Illinoisan. That 008 light going to be very hard to beat, and it is. Scott DeLong, look at that. Our Super Comp champion puts down a 9 thousandths package. 008 reaction time, 1,000th off his index. Less than 100th of a second in the package. Barry shows Angie how 311 light. And there's Ronnie Procopio's cousin, Joe Procopio, on his Chunky Love entry. He'll take on Dusty Brazel on the Street Tire ZX14. Joe Procopio. Boy, he must run in the family. He goes 004 on Dusty. Dusty's in trouble and has to break out to try to do anything. There was nothing that could be done. Joe absolutely annihilated Dusty on that light. Roger Steert, real street sensation, doing double duty here in MTC Engineering Supercon. He's slightly over the index. Chase Morris in the platinum lane was slightly under it, so we're going to see if it averages out to 890s. 021 for Roger, 017 for Chase. All right, now we've got that silvery beige Lincoln Navigator that's still in the way in the pits. Now, I've made this call a total of 3 times at this point. It is a Florida plate. It is a beige Lincoln Navigator. And at this point, if you don't move it, we will for you. And if you go looking for it, you can come up to the tower and we'll let you know where we put it, and we'll release it back to you after you pay the standard towing fee. So if you own a beige Lincoln Navigator with a Florida plate, where you have it parked is in the wrong place. Apparently it's got a cardboard in the front window with the word favor on it. We're not quite sure what that means, but we're about to do you a favor. We're gonna move it for you if you don't get it out of there yourself. So a beige Lincoln Navigator, please move it. You have a racer blocked in and it is a severe inconvenience. Nice job there for Jaleesa Miner. She struggled a little bit earlier in the weekend, but runs right on the dial and overcomes a slight reaction time disadvantage from Brian Miner. So great job, Elisa. Now moving into Wiseco Street Fighter, at which point I should have all of my my sportsmen in the lanes by now. Star Racing Top Gas should be in lane 4. Fast by Gas Super Eliminator in lane 5, and now I make the call. Worldwide Bearing Crazy 8. That's right, Worldwide Bearing Crazy 8s need you to lane 6, please. Worldwide Bearing Crazy 8s to lane 6. Star Racing Top Gas should already be in lane 4. And Fast by Gas Super Eliminator making your way to lane 5.
What are you doing with that thing?
I'm trying to do a live stream of some sort.
Eddie Fisher. Eddie just got the tree handed to him by Bob Carlson, whose axe is sharp. And Bob Carlson is not going to give up an over 2/10 starting line advantage, as he proves dramatically, forcing Eddie Fisher to break out, but still leisurely only needing to run a 969 on that 950 index. Hey, here's Roy Johnson in the platinum lane. He's a guy who knows how to hit that 9500 right on time. I've watched him do it on consecutive passes. Danny Miller, Elizabethtown, Kentucky, gives chase. Roy's got a slight starting line advantage. It's nothing to get really confident about, but it's there. That is that. Both riders go deep under the index. But the reaction time means Roy Johnson got there first and won the round. Kevin Combs and David Roman now.
Did I win an apple?
David Roman in the strange lane. Kevin Combs in the platinum lane. 950 is the Wiseco Street Fighter Index. And Kevin Combs' bike says, I don't wanna. It had no intention of leaving the line, that was clear. David Roman turns around, looks, and says, where did Kevin go? Okay, well, he's nowhere near me. I will let off and just coast. From Pinellas Park, Florida, goes 943, way under the index, but still manages to win because Roger Adam goes even more way under the index with that 937. Daniel Ingram and Guillermo Roman, Roman Brothers Racing Team. Dan Ingram goes a 154 light, but Guillermo not much better, 132. Dan simply closer to the index for the win. There's Barry Purnell and Eddie Doherty, one of our Facebook friends. Eddie Doherty out of Venice, Florida. He's qualified number 27. He could not find the index, but Barry Purnell could. He qualified number 5 with a 9:53. Eddie Doherty still too far into the index. Barry Purnell right where he wants to be. He goes 9:52. Now Terry Singleton and Tom Lagasse. Terry Singleton, a Georgia resident from Clarkston, he qualified number 18. 9:65. Tom Lagasse not too far ahead of him, qualified 15 with a 9:61. Tom is in the platinum lane. Tom was having his afternoon tea and watching television on the starting line. 384 light, nowhere near the hunt. Improves on his ET, gets it into 950s, but it's nowhere near enough. Terry Singleton there first, 0.3 of a second margin of victory. That's big. He is not. Timmy cannot grow quick enough to make good on his better reaction time, and Fittipaldi Peters is more than happy to make up the difference. Here's Stanley Russell. I've seen him have a couple of heartbreakers here so far today, so I would like to say I'm cheering for him, but Chris Rolls is another underdog entry that I like to see do well too, so I'm going to have to call my preference on this one neutral. No matter who wins this one, I think it'll be good. Chris Rolls. Light on Hanley. Don Horta. Bradenton, Florida resident. Taking on Lindbergh Simon. 46 years old. Lindbergh was able to get a 974. Qualifying. Don Horta's in the 50s with a 956, but Don has this one wrapped up. And into a win. In lane 5. Wide bearings, crazy eights in lane 6. For first round, Dwayne He says I'm going to have him tell me just what that means. The Sheik is astride his Dogwood Racing prepared Turbo Kawasaki ZX14 drag bike. The Sheik was unable to find the index all weekend long, with his best qualifying effort being an 8:03. Mike Congress not suffering from such a problem. He's number 10 with an 8:23. He had it, and he did not. Glenn Geiger from the slightly more local Ashburn, Georgia. Glenn Geiger on that very fun-looking 3 Kawasaki. Hang on to it for the win. He cannot. Glenn, number 17 qualifier on that Kawasaki in the strange lane, going up against Wade Cherry. Mr. Cady is more than happy to pick up those pieces. Next up, Peters. Another barely broke out, and I'm telling you, with an 8. The red light, 001, shaving it, way too close.
What's going on? Tim?
Mm-hmm.
Is your stuff up?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, This is a
Sort of.
George
It's
Jones.
dangerous over
crewman
here.
this-
Viewers.
He's done. Mike Konopacki